Okay, so as far as the injuries go, Saunders dislocated his elbow, but it looks like it's clean. There doesn't look like there's any damage in there other than the dislocation, which isn't great, but it's better than the alternative. Okafor has a slight hamstring, and then Ward fractured his hand. So, and he'll get that rechecked again tomorrow. So listen, I'm proud of our players, but I'm also proud of our fans that came out there. They were extremely loud, 17,000 strong or whatever that number ended up being. And likewise with our operations crew, Mark Donovan and his staff, I thought did a tremendous job of putting on this event, just getting everything organized. It's not as easy as it looks. And with the social distancing and then our fans wearing their masks and doing the things they're supposed to do. And I just keep encouraging them to keep on, man, because we want to keep you in the stands. And if we're going to do that, we got to do the right thing. So let's keep rolling with that. And then obviously our players, both sides of the ball and special teams, I thought were solid. For our first game, listen, there were some good things that were done, some great individual performances and some young guys that had some nice performances. So all in all, good day. Anyways, with that, time's yours.
Let's go to Herbie with the Kansas City Star. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, good evening. You mentioned some great individual performances. Obviously, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had himself a game. 25 carries, 138 yards. Did you come into this game knowing you wanted to feed him that much, or was this just a product of how the game flowed?
Well, we feel like Herbie that he's had a good camp and he's a heck of a player. So, and we wanted to give him the ball, but we didn't come in saying he's going to get X number of carries. No, but we like the mix that we were able to get going with, and we threw the ball well and caught the ball well and then also ran it well. So, you give the offensive line credit for that against what I consider one of the best defensive fronts in the league.
Let's go to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. Just wondered, I know Clyde was pretty impressive in camp, but wondered whether you learned anything about him tonight after seeing him in a live game. And also your thoughts on Pat's night, a lot of short stuff, but that seems like that was what the Texans were given.
Well, they came in and played a little cover two. They've been a man team against us in the past, but they kind of mixed it up with a bunch of different coverages. Some of our underneath stuff was good. Kels had a big night. Sammy had a big night. So we were able to hit some of the shorter things and keep them working. Tyreek, and they all, listen, the whole receiving core, I thought really did a nice job. And Pat did a nice job of checking it down. So we had some deeper things that he decided to come down on and because they were covered downfield, and his checkdowns were good for him. I thought he played very well.
Let's go to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, we asked you about this a little bit earlier in the week, but for a week one and no preseason and altered practices and all that, how pleased were you with the level of play, and what do you attribute that to just from your side?
Yeah, Sam, I mean, the guys worked extremely hard during training camp, and it's a good bunch of guys. I mean, they want to be good. They know that we can be better than what we are, and they're willing to work at it. So we've got good leadership in there. And listen, I mean, this wasn't perfect by any means. I mean, we've got to finish the game better. We got to score when we're down there inside the 1 and 5. We can't have the long drives or give up a big throw. We can't do that. So we can all do better. And blocking this I mentioned the fellas last night that if fundamentals weren't in the picture, there's no more bigger time than right this minute than fundamentals become important. So it's just the blocking and the tackling, those simple things that you kind of take for granted in this sport, they end up being important. I thought we did a decent job at that.
Let's go to Aaron Ladd with KSHB. Go ahead, Aaron.
Coach, I'm going to be honest. The talk of Twitter has to be your face mask and how it fogged up. It seemed like you had a little trouble with it.
Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah, I didn't do very good with that thing. But listen, it'll be better the next time. So I appreciate you asking that, though. It was a bit of a mess, but we'll get it fixed up.
Let's go to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, it seemed like Pat really was able to spread the ball around quite a bit in this game, maybe more so than we've even usually seen in previous years. What does it say as far as the chemistry that he's developed with some of these returning receivers, including Kelsey?
Yeah, well, listen, I think what you see is a maturity where he's not forcing things downfield. So as a play caller, EB and I sit there and we go, listen, we can call deep throws, but yet he's willing to check this thing down. So we appreciate that and still trust his guys to make plays. It also helps the offensive line, ball out fast. That's a frustrating thing for defenders. So I thought he just handled and managed the game the right way. And you guys saw the second half, it was a bit wet. It started the first half and he's throwing a wet ball around like it's nothing. So he did a heck of a job with that.
Let's go to Matt Derrick next. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, between Clyde and L'Jarius both having big nights and a lot of the rookies overall contributing so much, how impressed were you with the way that group came out and that they were able to handle the big stage tonight?
Yeah, well, I compliment our veteran players for that because they welcomed these guys in, and then our coaches for doing a nice job. I mean, if you look at the coordinator, Spags has done a phenomenal job, and his coaching staff of making sure the young guys worked in there. EB and our offensive staff have done the same thing. And then Dave always believes that, listen, if they're not going to be able to work in on the offense or defense, they can learn angles and speed on special teams and still be effective. So all the coaches believe in that. And then Brett has done a nice job of drafting, first of all, and then two, bringing our team back together.
We've got time for a couple more guys. Let's go Todd Lebo and then Harold to close it out. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, I wonder if you could just take us through the discussions you had with your team leadership about how you guys were going to handle the anthems. And then on TV, it seemed like there was some booing when you guys all came together at the middle of the field. But I wasn't there. You were right there at midfield. Did it sound like there was booing? And if so, how much was there at that point?
Yeah, I didn't really notice it. I thought that was kind of a neat deal, just both sides coming together for a cause and it was the story was told there. And so whether it was the national anthems and how those were presented and the singers, I mean, Alicia Keys was phenomenal. And, and then guys joining hands together for a cause. And so we can all learn from this. And really it's just to make us all better and even a stronger country than we already are. I mean, we have a chance to just be completely unstoppable when all hands join together, and that's a beautiful thing, man.
Let's go to Harold to close it out. Go ahead, Harold.
Yeah, Todd kind of alluded to my question I was going to ask you, but I will say this. With expectations, you've always mentioned, you don't expect unexpected in the first game. You feel that you reached, obviously with the win, but you feel like you reached the expectations of where you could be for a week one game?
Well, no, listen, I'm proud of our guys, but we have a ton of things we can work on. So that's a plus, and these guys are willing to do that. They know that. And once they have the chance to look at the tape and see what they've got, they'll hit the drawing board, as you'd say, and get busy on working on those things. Coaches likewise. So we were all knocking the rust off, but I'm proud of the guys. I don't want to take away from that. I'm proud of how they handled this.
Coach, we really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you.